Hello, everyone. Welcome to this minisode of PCP. No boosters needed. I am Juhadre, fresh off the cast of our December tournament, and joining me is Zeno and the Snurks. Hey there.
Hey, it's always good to be around. I was able to sit through the entire tournament, so happy to be here.
Good. And you're taking on one of the administrative roles, right? Watching over what's called QA and tournament administration.
Yeah, so in essence, whenever music is playing or whenever the audio isn't quite balanced, that's where I step in to talk and be like, hey, we need to make sure to do this. Just, keep track of things on start.gg, make sure everything's running smoothly, and just helping out where I can.
Well, thank you for that, by the way. I know admin is really relieved to have someone to help him with the myriad of responsibilities he has. So I know that he thanks you.
Yeah, admin does a lot, so I'm happy to step up and do what I can.
Speaking of doing what we can, we're here to talk about the December tournament. We just finished that, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes ago, would you say?
Yeah, something like that.
And congratulations to Circus in Town.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I apologize. There's a question mark on the end of their name. That wasn't me not remembering who it was. It was me trying to say it correctly. So when...
Oh, I getcha. You want to make sure you say Circus in Town correctly.
Exactly. It's so silly. But, it was a really fun tournament today. Congrats again to them, but really well played by all 10 of our teams. It's another really big number for us.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Because last month's was 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I'll be honest. I was not expecting to see, as many as 10 teams this time. Because I thought, with it being December and people tend to be busy at the end of the year, I figured that, a lot of people wouldn't be able to make it. So it was a pleasant surprise to see this many teams.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I remember at the beginning of the day, I only saw that 8 full teams were registered. So I thought that was all we were going to get. And then suddenly we have 10. It was really cool.
Yep, always great to see. And then, yeah, also, I don't know if this is a first. I wouldn't say it's a first, but one thing that I think is really cool is that we were able to see all 10 teams on stream.
Yeah, that was amazing. So when we decide who's going to be on stream, we try and debut as many teams as we can. And it just so happened that our 4 Swiss rounds were 4 teams who didn't make playoffs, or rather, who we were able to get 8 different teams, right? It worked out so that we never had to repeat anybody until we got to the finals, and then we repeated 2 teams. But all 4 Swiss rounds and our semifinal were all different teams, so we saw all 10. And I agree. I think you're right, Zeno. I think that was the first time we've been able to do that, or at least that cleanly.
Well, I would say to that size, because we've had smaller tournaments where it's a lot easier to get everybody. But with this many teams, I think it's the first time we've done that.
That is true. And shout out to those smaller groups that have been with us for so long. Specifically, this time I want to call out Team Unknown. They were able to put enough friends and people together that they actually made a second team called Outplayed by Minions. And, just their kindness to the PLC is just so appreciated. Calavier, their team captain, told me that they've been thinking about it for a while and that they wanted to do that because then we always have at least 2 teams to put on a show. And that just warms my heart. I think I almost cried. It was just so fun. And, our last Swiss round was actually Outplayed by Minions versus Team Unknown. It was so fun.
Yeah, that was really cool to see those 2 teams that came from the same team up against each other.
And we had another interesting one of 2 sister teams. The project group brought 3 teams. We had Ionia, Pentakill, and Zon, all of those project teams. And we got to see Project Zon versus Ionia go against each other. And that was pretty fun to see how they stood up against each other. And just everything about today was exciting. There was no point where we weren't out of our seats and scream. I even screamed like a child. It was amazing.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun watching it on the stream side because, with you shoutcasting being directly involved, you get to, just focus on the game directly. But for me, it's kind of cool to be able to be in Twitch chat and interact with people and see what people are saying while everything's going on, and see kind of the different players that they start to grow attached to, and to see the support for all the teams.
So, speaking of vibe, we made a change to our format this time where we didn't go straight into a best of 3 finals after the Swiss, but instead had a best of 1 semifinals into best of 1 finals. What do you think the overall vibe was with everything that you were able to see in the Twitch chat?
Yeah, I think people really liked the kind of vibe I got was that people liked that we were able to transition from Swiss into those single elimination final rounds, just because it was really cool to be able to see more teams represented and also give teams more of a chance to potentially take the tournament.
Yeah, and especially last time in November, we had 4 teams go 3-1 and only 1 team 4-0. So like built into the bracket are all the tiebreakers and the considerations and things, but it did feel bad, right? These teams put in the work, they spent all day playing, and they were like, what, that's it? And so it was a lot better. We had another 3 or 4 teams who went 3-1, 1 team that went 4-0. Actually, you know what, there were only 2 3-1 teams, are 4-0, and then some 2-2s. That's where the tie came in, was a bunch of the 2-2s, but we were able to get our top 4. We got our semifinals, and they were repeat matches, so it was a chance for redemption for the 2 teams that had lost before. And it's, again, everything was just so exciting and so much fun to watch.
Yeah, and another comment that I saw that I really appreciate is that another general vibe of the Twitch chat is that they absolutely love and adore the music that plays between matches.
Yeah, admin has a playlist that's all Riot approved music that can be on stream with no copyright infringement, and just people start recognizing the songs even though they're relatively nameless.
Well, actually, funny you should mention that, because one of, like, there's a certain types of songs that come on that I recognize. I don't know what they're called, but I did play through Hex Tech Mayhem when it came out, which was a Ziggs rhythm game. So I recognize some of the songs from that game.
That's awesome. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, it's a fun little game. Maybe I should have you play it sometime.
Absolutely, you should. That sounds great. So, speaking of playing, another really interesting part of today was how many unique champions we got. You know, typically we see a lot of the strong champions come through, a lot of favorites and things like that. But because we had so many new teams, I'm pretty sure that we saw 28 unique champions out of 30 in our first 3 games or something silly like that.
Yeah, it was really cool to see.
And even the bans started to get really weird. Like we saw a Riven ban, saw Ilaoi banned, Katarina, Talon, just these random champions that no one really plays in the competitive scene. But when you're in this kind of open tournament scenario, you need to be wary, because this isn't full tournament play.
Oh yeah, I get it. Like I remember when I used to like sometimes back in like season 2 or 3, my friends and I would do custom games where it was 5v5, and without fail I always got my Veigar targeted ban, so I get it.
Yeah, when we did custom 5v5s, I played the same champion for a while, and it got to the point where I was told I wasn't allowed to anymore, because we didn't do bans. We just said, you know, play the game, but Juhadra, you can't pick this one. And so I understand. It's a lot of fun. All right. So our finals looked really, really good. I think that every team performed well throughout the day, but Circus in town did do a great job. They went undefeated completely. So congrats again to them. And we just want to, like we always do, we want to get some first impressions here. I think that everyone had a great time, and we're going to see a lot of these teams come back in January. So do you have any other thoughts or things you want to bring up before we wrap up, Zeno?
Yeah, I just really enjoyed seeing, you know, the different teams and the new teams show up and play. It was really cool to have a new team like Circus in town come in and just, you know, win, because we always want to see more representation. We always want to see more teams get a chance to shine in the spotlight, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Folks, that is everything for us tonight. This was our December tournament. We're moving into 2025. Hey, I love that. Our January tournament is going to be on January 18th. That is the new start time of 1 p.m. Pacific. Start.gg. Look up the Progenitor Circuit. Let's sign up the teams. Twitch.tv/Progenitor Circuit, or search on YouTube Progen Circuit, and we will see you in January.
Yep, thank you all again for joining us here.